Welcome to another Walking Dead retro review. Happy Saturday, because these are now coming out on Saturdays because there's more editing in them, which takes more time. So they're released on Saturdays. I'm Justin, by the way.
I'm Jessi.
They get more and more aggressive every week.
The Podcasting Dead is available on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Make sure to subscribe for more podcasts. And while you're at it, drop us a like. If you want to help support the channel and have access to extra content, secret contests, and more, make sure to search for us on Patreon. Patreon.com/thepodcastingdead.
Listen, I've been in the zombie game for a while now.
You're kind of a Walking Dead veteran at this point.
Yeah, I'm a OG.
If you're new to the channel, well, first off, welcome. Please consider liking, subscribing, commenting. All that good stuff helps a growing channel get all of its nutrients and grow up to be a big boy channel. It helps out a ton. Don't forget, you can find us over on Patreon, patreon.com/thepodcastingdead, where you actually get these early, in addition to other podcasts and cool stuff. So what we're doing is we're going back in time and we're reviewing all of the old Walking Dead episodes. We started at episode 1. You can find those all banked up on YouTube. If that's where you're watching, just go back to the channel and find the retro review playlist and go to the beginning. If you're listening on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, whatnot, go to YouTube, find us, and there's a whole library of everything that we've ever done. And before we get into this episode, which I promise we're about to, Jessi, you know, I don't know if you know him very well, but you know my buddy Josh, right? We call him Stone because his last name he's Josh Stone, but we call him Stone. Yeah. So he just recently started The Walking Dead, and do you know he's in season 3? And do you know what message he sent me today?
What?
He said, "Oh man, the governor then killed my girl." I said, "Who's your girl?" He said, "Andrea." I said, "Dude."
No.
Dude, this man was defending Andrea, saying she was a good character.
You know, that says a lot about him.
It does. He's a wonderful man, but his taste in TV women, I do question. But anyways, we are here to talk about Season 5, Episode 2. It is called Strangers. It was directed by David Boyd. It was written by Robert Kirkman, and it originally aired October the 19th of 2014. So, Jessi, we're 2 episodes into Season 5. Let me know, what'd you think about this one?
I loved this one so much because I think we're so close to finding out who has Beth. The whole thing with Bob and the termites, what the heck is going on there? And then we have like Carol trying to do something sneaky. And what else? What else is it? I don't even know. Gabe, what is he up to? What's he hiding?
It's a new character. Let's start with Gabe. What do you think about Gabe?
I think that my perception of him is heavily what is the word I'm even looking for? It's based on what Rick thinks of him, which isn't fair to Gabe.
So you're saying your opinion of him is what Rick thinks of him?
Yeah, because Rick has like put some ideas in my head, which I'm not sure if they would be there if it wasn't for Rick. But I do like his sense of humor. It's very dark, and I love it.
He's kind of cowardly too.
Yeah, so like that throws me off because could he really be a bad guy if he's cowardly?
I mean, he could be pretending to be cowardly just to get the guard down.
That's true, because I kinda at the end of this episode felt like he might be working with the termites somehow.
Well, speaking of the termites, and real quick, I'm not even going to edit this out. Jessi, if you can, real quick, I sent you a private message, but I don't think you saw it. Can you cut your video and then bring it back? Because you're lagging some kind of bad.
What? I don't know how to do that.
Just where you would go to mute, just do video, close it out, and then bring it back. And if it keeps lagging, then we'll just cut. There you go. And then give it a second and come back.
Are we better?
No.
Better now?
Maybe for the time being. If it does it again, we'll just cut your mic. We got to
I'm
see
sorry.
that's why you've got to subscribe to the Patreon so we can get Jessi better internet. She says, this is good internet. It's not. It's terrible.
It's because there's
Look.
10 kids in this house.
Look, when I'm doing these, there are people upstairs watching TV. There's people streaming on apps and cell phones. We gonna hook you up. More people going to subscribe to the Patreon and do super chats and super thanks and all of that. And we're going to use them funds to get you a better mic and to get you better internet. At this point, I'm thinking better internet before better mic. But anyways, back to The Walking Dead. The termites are back.
They're back. Like, what are they doing? What is going on here?
They're feasting on Bob.
I think they like eating people too much. There's other things to eat, guys. You don't have to eat the people. They're using the apocalypse as like reason or an excuse to be cannibals when it's not necessary.
This is true. I think that they're just so accustomed to it, and I feel like people are probably easier to hunt than other animals. You know, I feel like people are just easier targets for them, and it's just what they know at this point. And poor Bob, man.
So I think he got bit under the water anyway, and I think that's why he was breaking down, and I think maybe he was gonna off himself.
So you think maybe he got bit in their encounter earlier?
Yeah. In the water.
Because
then he asked Sasha for one more kiss, right? And that was kind of weird. I was like, not weird, but it was just like foreshadowing. And then he went off into the woods and started crying, and I was thinking that maybe he got bit.
We'll have to wait and see. I'll tell you, it's a good season, man. I feel like at least for the I think it's always something going on, which is good. I'm not going to say there's no slow episodes. It's been a while since I've watched season 5. But season 5 is one of those where, to my recollection of it, there's always something happening. Some big development. Someone's dying.
So far, that's the deal.
I'll tell you, season 5, from my recollection, is the season of dying. You're going to lose some characters in this one.
No.
You know, we had gotten to a point there where we lost characters, but not really too many main characters.
Yeah.
And now we're, because we had a little spell there after the season 4 mid-season finale where, nobody really kicked the bucket. But we're things are changing. We're getting back to brutal Walking Dead, like season 3, where every episode they were offing somebody.
Yeah. Okay, I made a little connection, and I want to mention it before I forget. But when they took Bob, and then there was like that slash in the tree, but before that, Morgan was looking at some slashes in a tree. So, like, is Morgan hunting these people down? Or, like, why do they mean to leave the slashes in the tree? Or does somebody leave the slashes in the tree to tell them that that's where they can find people to eat?
It's so funny because your audio is so clear, but your video is stop motion. And I had you on solo layout. So you're just over here like, so are they going, like your mouth's not moving. So are they going to the thing? And are they going to be the... So
you got to put the robot voice on me.
Right.
I'm sorry. They're not here to see me anyway.
I think they are. I mean, look at me, and then look at you. If they're looking at somebody, it definitely ain't me. But no, so I can't really with the Morgan thing, man. I really don't want to spoil anything for you, so I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep that a little tight-lipped with Morgan's return. But yeah, you're right. There are some. The markings on the tree are definitely something that draw your attention. So we're just going to have to see. For all you know, maybe Morgan has become one of the termites and he's just trying to get back to his people.
No.
I mean, last time we saw him, he was absolutely Looney Tunes. So, I mean, is it too far? He was Looney Tunes. He was by himself. So is it too far out of the realm of possibility to believe that Morgan is now cannibal and he just became that way to survive.
I don't want to think that. But I guess it's possible, very possible. I mean, anything is possible in the land of Walking Dead.
That's true. And we saw the return of the vehicle with the crosses. And Daryl and Carol are going after it. I mean, what do you think? Because a lot of people, when this originally aired, a lot of people thought that like Father Gabriel had something to do with it. Obviously, he's a preacher. There's a car with crosses. So what do you think? Do you think Father Gabriel's got something to do with it?
Yeah, I also thought that. I was like, I wrote in my notes, did Gabe have something to do with Beth? And then I thought he was working with the termites. But but hold on. Wasn't he with Rick? Hold on. Was he lying? Were there more people there than him? Was it not just him? Or somebody just stole the church car?
Well, we know they're definitely alluding to there having at least at some point been more people there other than Gabriel because of the way he reacted to that woman, that female walker that they came across, and then we see that picture of him and her. So
yeah,
wait.
Definitely,
I won't spoil anything, but I will say there's definitely more going on with Gabriel than meets the eye.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to figure out if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, we all know he's hiding something, but is it really anything that bad? Maybe it's just bad to him. But also, the slashes in the trees and the ones that Carl found on the window.
Yeah,
what's going on?
There's lots of slashes and gashes all over the place. What does it mean?
Did he make a deal with the termites?
Maybe he made a deal with the devil. That's the plot twist. He's a preacher, but he made a deal with the devil.
I don't know about all that.
Jessi's like, I don't think so on that one, but
that doesn't really go with the theme here. But what if he made a deal with the termites to bring people back to the church for them to eat? And that's the only reason they didn't eat him. And that's why he's the only one there. Did he make the hole in the floor so that they could be in the water forever and not get anybody? They could still live and not eat anybody?
Now, Jessi, that I can't answer that.
I know, but that's what I thought.
Yep.
It's a little out there, but...
What do you think about Rick agreeing to go with them to Washington?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all. What did surprise me was him asking Carol to join her. That was cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially after seeing what she was capable of at Terminus. It's like, man, you could use somebody like that on the road.
Heck yeah. I wonder if he was regretting turning her away at this point.
Oh, I mean, it's one of those things where I don't necessarily think he regrets it because, I mean, she did still do some screwed up stuff. I mean, albeit for the greater good, but it was still messed up the way she went about it. So I don't think he regrets it. I think more or less he's just glad that things worked out the way they did.
Well, I guess if he didn't send her on her way, she wouldn't have been able to save them. So
that's true. She would have been, at the prison. Could have been, killed at the prison, or she could have gotten so separated that she never made her way back. So yeah, it's one of those situations where it's like everything happens the way that it should.
Yeah. That all.
We've seen Tara. Like, we know Tara is not. She definitely doesn't take her role in the assault on the prison very lightly because, again, we see her basically talking to Maggie about it. And Maggie telling her, she forgives her. But, definitely one of those things where I think that's got to be a weird feeling. You're now with a group that not too long ago you were helping to attack.
Yeah, I don't know how I would. Because she didn't know.
No,
No.
you don't, but even still, it's just the fact that like you were with a group that's responsible for killing people
Well,
and doing some
also,
horrible stuff.
she needs to understand that everybody in this group has done things that they're not proud of, and she's not the only one. And that's just how it goes in the apocalypse, and there's no way to know. All you're doing is trying to survive, and sometimes it don't work out the way you think it's going to, and you end up doing some terrible stuff.
She's definitely like processing it and having issues with it, but it's good to see they forgive her because
Yeah.
they could have definitely went a different direction and had like some they don't whatever some like drawn out, they don't like Tara, they don't trust her. So I'm glad when they wrote it they moved it on along and we didn't have to watch them watch her have to get, because then they would have just been finding Gabriel and then they'd be like, we got two people in our group that they got to work to earn our trust.
Yeah. Well, I guess the lesson from this is a conscience is not a good thing to have in the zombie apocalypse.
Oh yeah, no, you in that world, you have to be willing to become a terrible person if you have to. And I mean, honestly too, like, so, this is not a spoiler, this is nothing big at all, but like on The Last of Us, like this relates, it's talking about being someone you might not be proud of, but like, especially if you're protecting your kids. So there's a scene in The Last of Us, which it's a zombie show, that like when everything hits the fan, it's the main character, his daughter and his brother in a truck, and they're riding down the road, and there's these people on the side of the road with kids asking for help, and the main character tells his brother, he's like, just keep driving, and he's like, but they got kids, like, just keep driving. And in our podcast, we were discussing that, and one of the guys in the podcast was like, I just don't think, I would have stopped and got him, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you say that now, but when your sole goal is to protect your child, you can think you'd be the hero and you'd pull over and save these people. But when all this is happening and your one goal is to keep your child alive, you'd be shocked at what you would do and what you would neglect to do. Because I mean, stopping could be getting attacked. They could mug you. They could kill you. Zombies could show up. You don't know what's going to happen if you stop. So, like in that situation, he's like, just keep going. And I'm like, he's got his kid in the back seat. Like all he's thinking about is protecting his child and getting her to safety. And it's the same way in the Walking Dead world. Like when you got a kid to protect, you need to be capable of some pretty extreme violence, if you...
Yeah, like biting someone's throat out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You should 100% be willing to bite someone's throat out for your child. Would you bite someone's throat out for your child?
101. Yeah, I wouldn't think twice about it.
Yep, it is interesting because it's like I told my dad back when this show was airing and we were watching it at my parents every Sunday. I was like, it is so funny, myself included. We all watch this show and talk about what they should have done, or like, why didn't they do this, or I would do this, or I would do that. And it's like, you truly don't know how you would react to a situation like that until you're in it.
No. I have played some scenarios over in my head, and I would 100% bite somebody's throat out for something like that.
I think most parents, most normal parents. I mean, you watch in the animal kingdom, like some animals will put themselves in great harm to protect their offspring, and I mean that's just in our instincts. Most of us are programmed to throw ourselves on a grenade if we have to protect our kids. So you definitely have to become someone you're not necessarily going to be proud of in the Walking Dead world.
And your kids will think that you're monsters, but really you're just doing what you got to do.
We're looking at you, Carl.
Yeah, Carl.
I'm not a monster,
Ungrateful.
Carl.
Kids are the same in real life and in the zombie apocalypse, just ungrateful.
Also, Joe, the guy whose throat Rick bit out a couple episodes ago, doesn't strike me as like the cleanest human being. And he's probably had some like less than safe whoopee time with people. So I hope, that's like straight blood in the mouth. So I hope he didn't have anything. I feel like these people have inadvertently caught like different diseases, maybe even some STDs, not from getting whoopee, but just from things like that. Like you're biting a dude's throat out. Like what if, I don't know, like what if that zombie is dead? So maybe the STDs they had, because you're going to see in this show, one thing they do that irks my nerves in this show is like in the beginning, they're like, don't get it in your eyes. Don't get it in your mouth. You can't get it on an open cut. Nothing. But then
Yeah.
you'll see, even this season, there's times when they kill zombies and there's just blood all over the face. And it's like, some of that went in their mouth. One of my gripes with the show is they're very loose with like the whole zombie thing. As much as I love that everybody's infected, when you die, you turn. I think that's a good kind of, deviation from traditional zombie stories, but it also led to, for me personally, a lot of confusion. Like, we actually had people that would argue with us in the comments on these podcasts back in the day, because I'm like, okay, so what you're telling me is it's not, traditional stuff like The Last of Us and, other Resident Evil. If you get bit, the zombie virus then turns you into a zombie. Whereas The Walking Dead, they're playing it more as, no, you're already going to turn into a zombie regardless. The bite just gets infected and it kills you. So I'm like, okay, well then, like, could you just immediately wash it out with some like Neosporin and alcohol and kill the infections and then not turn? So for me, the rules of the zombie turning in this show are very loose, but yeah, you're going to see a lot of blood and faces later. And then it's just like, some of that got in his mouth. But my whole point is, if they're getting blood all over them and in their mouths, like if that zombie had an STD, would it have died when they died? I guess they don't have body heat anymore, so maybe it can't survive in their body. But like, what if that zombie had like the herpes and then you just like ripped his throat out and it's like, ugh, I got zombie herpes.
Well, if it's anything I've learned from this show, it's that blood does not transfer diseases to these people at all.
Oh, just you wait.
Zombieism.
Just you wait. I'll even say this. I won't say who. I won't say what. So this is a giant spoiler. But there's a character at the finale of this season that is going to kill a zombie, and there's zombie blood all over the place, like in the face, in the nose, all over the place. And they're Gucci.
In the nose.
They're Gucci. Like, whatever.
They're good, man. They're good. Plus, like, okay, also, if the virus is already in everyone, I guess technically it wouldn't matter if you got the blood in you or in your mouth or whatever.
You think, which I mean, it makes sense because the people are supposed to be dead, right? Like they're dead corpses, and the only thing moving them is just the brain stem with the basic functions of just like walking, eating, and things like that. So it makes sense that dead bodies are just ripe with diseases like bacterias and stuff. Like when you die, your body becomes a nasty hodgepodge of just like bacterial growth and things like that. So it makes sense that like, okay, if you got zombie blood in your mouth, it's got nasty stuff in it that could make you really sick or even kill you. If a zombie bites you, that saliva's just got bacteria and decay and things like that in it. It could make you sick and kill you. Mm-hmm. But with that said, in this show, it's I don't know. For me, I love the show, and I mean it's a show about zombies, so I'm not it doesn't take me out of it. But at the same time, it's like, man, they are a little loose with what turns you and what doesn't.
Well, also, if they're dead, their blood wouldn't be like that anyway. It would be like coagulated or whatever that word is.
That's a
like
good,
jelly.
yeah, it's a good point. Well, and that's the thing about this show. That's why, like, I always gravitated towards things like Resident Evil or The Last of Us, because they were a little bit more grounded in reality. Like Resident Evil, it's a virus that just basically destroys your brain and makes you just, violent and hungry. And one of the side effects of the virus is necrosis. So in Resident Evil, they're not like actually walking dead zombies. They're people that are just infected. And in The Last of Us, it's a fungus that infects you and takes over your body. It's the cordyceps, which actually happens in real life, not to people, thank God, but they do. If you've never looked it up, before you watch The Last of Us, Jessi, you should look up the cordyceps fungus. It's a real fungus. They get on ants, they get into their body and control their mind and make them do things, like control the brain.
I've seen this on TV.
So it's like, I always like things like that had, even though it's a sci-fi concept, it's still kind of grounded in some reality. And then like 28 days later, it was a rage virus. I think it was like an offshoot of rabies or mad cow or something like that. And it's like they, in the second movie, all the zombies have died off because they ran out of food. Like they still have to have, whereas The Walking Dead, they're dead corpses that are walking around. It's like you have to have blood flow to get muscles moving and contracting. And I understand somebody could be like, that's why they walk stiff. Anyways, I know I'm on a tangent, but that's always like, I remember Neil Tyson deGrasse. I never get his last two names right, but he was talking about that, about how like a body's not going to get up and walk around if it doesn't have functions. Like the heart's got to beat, it's got to pump blood to the muscles. Like all of that has to happen. Yeah. You can't have just an active brain and get a body to move, or else they would legit just be like stiff as hell, moving slow.
Yeah. Well, we're not here for the logistics.
Oh no, we're not here for the realism.
The gore just like overpowers all the logical stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
For me.
Absolutely. So what do you think is going to come of Bob? I mean, he's already missing a leg, which to the termites' credits, at least they were nice enough to tell him he tasted a lot better than he would have thought.
I think that was just a slap in the face. I don't think that he was trying to be nice. It did look good, though. It looked like a hunkin' piece of steak.
It looked like pork to me for some reason, but yeah, it looked good. Well, I mean, my thing is, if you're going to eat me, the least you can do is tell me I'm delicious.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, you're right. Well, I think that he was bit, like I said. So I think that's gonna affect the termites in some way. Like, I think he was bit, and I don't think the termites know that he was bit. So
that would be a conflicting thing, right? Like, okay, so if everybody's already infected and someone gets bit, and it's not like a new in again other zombie media, it'd be like, well, if you eat the meat, the virus might be in the meat, and it could turn you into a zombie. But like, if the way you turn into a zombie is you die and you come back. Again, I don't know. Like maybe I don't know. Just for me, my brain. Some people seem to have it figured out. My brain can't follow how it works in this show. Which it's not I'm not.
It doesn't matter.
I'm not crap talking the show by any means. It does not take away from the show. I love it. That's how I like to figure things out.
Another thing is that they probably did not think that this was going to have so many seasons. So when they were initially making up the story, they didn't think about the fact that they would have to like keep up that narrative, and that was going to get in the way. So it's like, it's okay if it doesn't make sense, I guess, because
again, it's a show about The Walking Dead, so I mean, you have to just suspend disbelief. But like, part of me, like from a story writing perspective, part of me wants to be like, man, I almost feel like it would have been cool to leave out the whole, because that was in the comics too. Everybody's infected. Like, I almost, for creative purposes, if I was writing it, would have left that out. But with that said, you're going to find later in the show that it comes to play like a really cool role in other things down the road, like someone dying. Because I mean, that adds a new level of terror. So like, if I know you're not bit and we're all in the same camp and you're in the tent beside me, there's no, there's no fear. Like, okay, well, as long as zombies don't attack, we're good. But in the Walking Dead world, it's terrifying, because what if you have like a brain aneurysm? What if you die in your sleep randomly? Like, I'm going to wake up to you chewing on me.
Yeah, I think about that a lot with this show.
Yeah, I mean, so it's on the other hand, it leads to some really cool situations later in the show. There's some episodes they do later on that are actually horror based, like they film it like a horror movie for that episode. So it's really cool. It leads to some cool moments. But also, it's just very confusing. But it's a show about zombies, so whatever.
Yeah. It's still fun. It did pretty good in the ratings.
Thus far into the show, who's your favorite character still? Like, you was Daryl for a while. Has it changed?
I love Carol. I think Carol's one of my favorites. Still Daryl and Michonne. I think those are the top three.
Michonne's my girl. Mine is up to, in this point in the show, was probably like Glenn, Rick, and Michonne. I think if you were to go back to 2014 and ask me as I'm watching it, like, who are your favorite characters, I probably would have said Glenn, Rick, and Michonne. Carol was up there. I mean, I liked Carol a lot. I like Daryl. Honestly, I guess I was being a bit of a hipster, and once everybody was like, "Oh, I love Daryl," I was like, "He's all right," even though I knew he was awesome. But yeah, it's does it feel good to have everybody back together again?
It does. And it feels good to have everybody back together without Beth.
So it's like if we could just like leave Beth missing until the show ends, that like she could show up the last episode and be like, guys, like, hello.
But at the same time, I need to know what happened to her. But like, maybe we could just find her dead or as a zombie.
They missed a really good opportunity for some comedy there. Like, you know, when she got taken by the car with the traditional Christian cross in the window or whatever, they could have asked Daryl, like, where's Beth? Somebody took her. Who was it? I think it was Jesus. Are you saying she died? No, I think Jesus literally stuffed her into the back of a car and took off. He's back.
That's funny. Yeah, they did miss that opportunity.
But so let's go ahead and wrap this up by rating the episode 1 to 5. Hold the hands where I can't see them. And on the count of 3, pull it up and give me your rating for the episode. 3, 2, and 1. Yeah, I give it a 4 just because I don't want to be too liberal with my 5s. But it's a solid episode.
I'm throwing them out like confetti.
So if you were watching this show as it aired, we're 2 episodes into season 5. So at this point, you've given both episodes a 5-star rating or 5-finger rating. So you would probably be like, this season's off to an awesome start.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a good season,
and
man.
The anticipation would kill me every week.
Oh, yeah, man. Which, you know, you do have to kind of wait between, but, you know,
Yeah.
but not as bad because we were doing twice a week. So you got 2 a week.
So that's better than a week in between. I don't know how you did it.
Which, again, as we wrap this up, you know, of course, I got to plug the Patreon, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Patreon.com/thepodcastingdead. We are still going to be, not every week, but most weeks, we're going to try to still record 2 a week. And that just helps me to bank them up so that I can edit and get them out every Saturday. But if you are a member of the Patreon, then you'll be able to get, you know, usually, not every week, but most weeks, like 2 a week. And even if you don't get 2 a week, you're still going to get it several days before it actually comes out on like YouTube or SoundCloud or any of that. So for the small price of just 7 cups of coffee a day, you can help Jessi to get better internet. Like my goal was, I seriously have been telling myself my goal is by March to have Jessi like a brand new nice like a Shure MV7 USB microphone, which will make her sound so, and a nice stand and all of that. But now I'm thinking I'm just going to focus on the internet.
Priorities.
Thank you so much for watching. Again, don't forget, I know I've said it multiple times, like, comment, subscribe if you're, especially if you're listening, really any program, the algorithm tends to favor those that get lots of likes and stuff. But especially if you're watching here on YouTube, man, those likes and comments go a long ways. Even if you just comment first, second, third, hey, what up? Cool, you suck. Whatever you comment, you know, it helps. And then the likes help. And then subscribing to the channel. We're very close to 5,000 subscribers. So if you would go subscribe to that, it would make me a very happy boy because I would love to get to 5,000. And then again, the Patreon, all that good stuff. So we'll see you next Saturday for season 5, episode 3. I'm Justin.
I'm Jessi.
And we're the Podcasting Dead. Us two here. And there's some other people too. They're cool, all right. They all right. But the Podcasting Dead. Bye.